Another great MAGA weekend is upon us. Welcome, one and all. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Okay, so the Supreme Court ruling, I tell you, we've been hearing about activist judges forever, right? Activist judges. And when you hear conservative judges talked about, you hear constitutionalist. Okay, so I'm just going to explain the difference between the two for the liberally impaired real quick. All right, liberal activist judges, what's the difference between a liberal activist judge and the conservative judges that we refer to as constitutionalist? Conservative judges make rulings based on what the Constitution of the United States says. Okay, whether they agree with it or not. One of my most famous, I think one of the most famous examples of this is the great late Supreme Court Justice Scalia. And Scalia made rulings in favor of pornographers where the internet was new because First Amendment. He didn't support pornography or pornographers, but the Constitution said, okay, they had this First Amendment. Liberal judges, federal judges, Supreme Court justices and federal judges, they're often referred to as liberal activist judges. They base rulings based on what they think things should be. They act as if they're members of the House of Representatives, okay, not what the Constitution says, right? And that's the difference. They just, to put it simply, they just make shit up as they go. I mean, that's what they do. So this Supreme Court ruling yesterday is a beautiful ruling because what happened is these liberal activist judges in their robes around the country, and who knows if they have what they have underneath those robes, if anything at all. These liberal activist federal judges thought they were a little presidential committee that was going to run the country and tell the president of the United States what he could and could not do. And the Supreme Court said you can't do that. You local federal judges, there's districts. They have a district. Their realm is over. You have no authority over the president to be running the country. And that is a ruling not just for President Trump, but for all presidents in the future. Because most everything in U.S. law is done on legal precedent. Right? That's why you always hear these court cases cited, whatever versus whoever, right? So they were setting up a very dangerous legal precedent where presidents would not be governing the country. It would be run by judges. And in the future, conservative judges could have very well been doing the same thing against liberal presidents. Welcome. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. And today I'm in my front yard today. So I'm on the side of my house, live streaming today because the weather is so nice. Here in Florida, the weather is beautiful. And I thought, well, why don't I just sit in a lawn chair in the front yard? My neighbors are probably wondering who I'm talking to. Yes. But no, that was a great, great ruling. And then you saw, this is the beginning of something good too. The temporary protective status on over 500,000 Haitians, that's it, it's over. It's been revoked. And the first week of September, it's history. They're going to have to go back to Haiti. I had a conversation with a caller on the show yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. A guy called me yesterday morning. And we were talking about the different types of immigrants. And liberals love to say, we're all descendants of immigrants. That is true. We are all descendants of immigrants, including the Native American Indians are descendant of immigrants as well. And the difference is when our ancestors came to America, they came here to become Americans. They wanted to be Americanized, to become Americans. And depending on what wing of my family it is, they've been here longer. Some of my family have been here since the colonial period. And then my wife's mother, my mother-in-law, is from Canada. She came to the United States in the 70s. And on my mother's side, my grandmother on my mother's side, her family came here in the late 1800s. And they all, some of them even changed their names, their last names, to make them sound American, right? You know, and no one in my family is bilingual or anything. Everybody speaks American Standard English. They became Americans. And what happens now, you see this with this Zohan character in New York and what's happening in New York, or Minnesota with the Somalians, or Springfield with the Haitian immigrants that Biden took there, the migrants. They don't become American. They bring their third world country here and are trying to turn us into a third world nation. Right? I mean, and you just don't want to be doing that. You don't want to turn, you know, as an example with Haiti, you know, the Caribbean's beautiful. We take our MAGA cruises through the Caribbean. By the way, our next one's in March. I'm going to be talking with our travel agent on the air this week about it. We're going to Antigua, Nassau, and I forgot our other destination. And those of you, by the way, just to let you guys know, I'm not going to do a commercial for the cruise other than to say this. Ian, our travel agent, and I, we had a meeting a couple weeks ago. We are doing things in a different way than we've ever done before on any of our MAGA cruises on this one. And you guys will find out that are going on the cruise, but we're doing some exciting stuff. But anyway, the Caribbean is beautiful and great places there, except Haiti, which is an anarchy, right? Haiti not only is an anarchy, it's been an anarchy forever and ever. You know, so when you bring people from an anarchy to the United States, I mean, it's worse than your typical third world because it's an anarchy and they don't become Americanized. They, whatever community they're dropped into by Biden and Willie Brown's girlfriend, Kamala Harris, they turn that into an anarchy. And I've even seen a little bit of it in Miami lately, and over the last year. These Haitian migrants that Biden and Kamala brought here by these huge numbers, they've never driven a car before, and they give them driver's licenses. And I got to tell you, driving in Miami it's a skill set, right? You know, and you go to, as soon as you enter Miami, you know, Dade County, Miami-Dade County, where Miami is, it's a transformation of driving. When you take I-95 at the Florida Turnpike there. And I've noticed there are people on the road that don't know how to drive. They don't know how to drive. And these are the Haitian migrants that Biden brought here. And a lot of people, I've heard this my whole life here in South Florida since I've been on the road. I've been, you know, been driving in Florida on the road since high school in the 80s. And people will tell you that if you get in a car accident with a Haitian immigrant, you're in trouble because they're not insured. You know, but you can see the difference. These are people that have never driven a car, and they're given a driver's license, and they don't know the rules of the road. They don't know how to drive. They don't know how to. It's very. You hear this from people in Springfield, and I see it in Miami. So anyway, this ruling about the over 500,000 Haitians who have now their President Trump's order to take their migrant status away is going to be in effect, and their status will expire the first week in September. They're going to have to go back to Haiti, right? Yeah, Happy there talking about Dallas with uninsured motorists. That's right. There's nothing they can do. Now, I got insurance, but, you know, so I got to go through my insurance company. So, you know, you just can't have people by the hundreds of thousands and the millions come into our country and bring their third world here. You've got to become Americans. And I know a lot of people will say, well, there were these huge waves of immigrants. There's always been, in the history of immigration in the United States, there has always been restrictions and regulations on immigrants. coming into the country, even during the 1800s. John, $2 super chat, thank you. Oh, happy birthday to Elon Musk. Wow, yeah, happy birthday. Maybe he'll launch a rocket while I'm sitting here. Is there anything on the launch pad launching this morning? If so, it's a clear sky. Maybe I'd be able to see it. Little birthday candle for Elon. But I lost my train of thought, thanking John there for the super chat. What was I talking about with the Americanization? You know, oh yeah, there's always been restrictions. And the restrictions in the 1800s and in the early 20th century, you can look this up yourself, it was specific by national origin, right? Only so many Irish, only so many Chinese, only so many German. That's how they did it back then. It's been updated, but this idea that you had lawlessness and anybody could come here who wanted, that's just not the case, okay? Also, I mean, even during the earliest colonial period, you know, you had to work it through the government that owned that territory, whether it was Spain or England or whoever, and you know. But one thing when our ancestors came here, whenever they came, whether it was in the 20th century or before, I know I spilled coffee on my cup, guys. I know it's a mess. I just spilled more coffee on my lap. I've been spilling coffee all morning. No, it's not Irish coffee. Back in those days, when our ancestors came, there was no social welfare, right? So when my family came here in the late 1800s, there was no Section 8 housing. There was no there was no EBT. They didn't even really have public education in most of the country. So our ancestors, when they came here, they had to find a way to support themselves. Now you're dumping millions of people from third world countries over here, and you're setting them up with a retirement plan. They are retired, and they are very comfortable at the lifestyle that the social welfare from the Democrats gives them to live that way for their whole life. And they come over here, they're retired, while we're working our asses off, right? To support ourselves and pay taxes so that these third worlders that just come over here, many of them criminals in their home countries, can retire. That's crazy. It's a handout. It's not handouts. It's a retirement plan. They've been given a retirement plan. Yeah, yeah. For those just joining, I'm in my front yard on the side of my house today, streaming from home. It's a great day. I mean, I don't know I didn't check the weather, but it's got to be in the low 80s. So this court ruling by the Supreme Court yesterday was such a MAGA victory, wasn't it? It was a great victory for our great President Donald Trump. And, you know, I love that Pam Bondi fired these prosecutors, these J6 prosecutors. Is this the beginning of her going after the lawfare criminals? I hope so. You know, President Trump loves Pam Bondi. So we got to cut her some slack. I saw her at one of the White House events this weekend. Or I'm sorry, not this weekend, this past week with the president, and he's very much behind her. So if President Trump is behind Pam Bondi, I'm behind Pam Bondi, and you should be too. President Trump drops her or trashes her, that's a whole other story. But he's strongly behind Pam Bondi. People came looking for opportunities, not a handout, Girl Interrupted said. Absolutely correct. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to my channel. I got a very busy day today. The weather is so nice. I'm meeting a friend for lunch at 12:30 today. Dr. Appleton and I are having lunch today, and I don't know, would that be, at the end of lunch, would that be too late to go to Alligator Alcatraz? What do you guys think? It's about a 90-minute drive each way to Alligator Alcatraz. I was thinking about going there just to show you guys how remote of a location it is. You know, because it is very, very remote. Maybe I'll go today. I was thinking about going tomorrow, but I might go today. I'll see. I got a lot of stuff to do. If I go today, See, I got invited to go to CPAC Latino today, but I think I'm going to skip CPAC Latino and maybe go to Alligator Alcatraz today. I've got a lot of work to do, so I can't, a lot of stuff to do, and I got to do some things around the house as well. Well, you know, this is the thing about Alligator Alcatraz. Who is really responsible for it? Is it DeSantis or the Florida Attorney General? Because the Florida Attorney General is the one that made that video. And I was just wondering, is DeSantis trying to get credit for what's the guy's name, the Florida Attorney General, that made the original Alligator Alcatraz video? And I think he gave it the name. Alligator. So who's responsible for it? DeSantis or the Attorney General of Florida? I was a little curious about that. Now the governor's used executive powers to get it done, so I mean I'm not saying he has nothing to do with it, but I don't know. It just seems like he's taking credit for the other guy's idea. Impeach for what? Making America great again is an impeachable offense to you? A collaboration, yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Well, no, Governor DeSantis did help. I mean, he cleared the way. It's going to be open this week for illegals. So, yeah. Yeah, the weather is really nice today. It is beautiful. Well, if I go, you know, what I want to show on the YouTube video is how remote it is, right? How remote of a place it is. You know, so it is really out in the middle of nowhere. That's why I was thinking about going to. I'm thinking I'm going to go tomorrow morning because it's such a long drive. And it's on some really back roads, man, out into the. I mean, these are the kind of movies that when you see movies about, you know, like Deliverance and stuff. That's how remote this is. It's like, you know. So I think I'll probably end up going tomorrow morning early. Like I'll go and get coffee. I'll do a quick live stream with you guys in the morning, and then I'll go to Alligator Alcatraz. Because if I get there, and I won't be able to shoot if it's dark. And if I don't leave until like 2:30, 3 in the afternoon, it's kind of late in the day. If I go tomorrow, I'll have a lot of light. So I'll probably go tomorrow. But I'm going to skip CPAC Latino, I think. I don't see much purpose to go to that. First of all, they're going to be speaking Spanish. I'm just invited as press, okay? I'm not like a guest speaker. So I was talking yesterday, there's a red carpet event in the early evening for some black tie affair. And so I'm not invited to walk the red carpet. I'm invited to be press along the red carpet. So a lot of these people, I don't know who they are because they're from the Hispanic world. I've never heard of some of the people that are going to be there. There are two people that are going to be there that I've met before are Byron Donalds and Anna Paulina Luna are going to be there. But is it worth me going there to stand on the red carpet just to ask Byron Donalds and Anna Paulina Luna a 30-second question? I don't know. What would I ask them that wouldn't be dated by Monday, news-wise? What would I say to them? Right? Would you, who are you wearing? What would you ask Anna Paulina Luna and Byron Donalds? I love them both, but what would you ask them on the red carpet if you were me today and you went? I just can't. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. Doesn't seem worth the effort. Like when I went to, I don't go to a lot of these political events, but like if you remember a couple years ago, I went to Turning Point USA here, and there were some A-listers. I bumped into Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly, and the president was there, and Charlie Kirk, and because I'm hitting the mic probably. But it's different than my hand was hitting the mic, so it should be okay now. Why is there a Latino CPAC? Because it's being held just a couple miles north of Miami, and there's a large Hispanic population in Miami. It's a cool place. I mean, you know, and how much of it will be? I'm not into watching speeches. Like I went to Turning Point. I went to Turning Point for a couple reasons. I wanted to meet the president, and Tucker Carlson had just gotten fired from Fox, and he was going to be there. So I wanted to meet Tucker, who's in my vlog of that. I was talking on the phone to my wife, and I said, "Oh no, let me call you back. Tucker Carlson's walking by." You know, so CPAC, they do have a national event. And they've asked me to broadcast from there, and I'd love to broadcast from there. They do it in Washington, but the hours that I'm on the air in the morning, maybe I'll go this year to CPAC, the main CPAC. You know, but the hours I broadcast in the morning, it's not really worth it because, you know, 6 to 9, and to do it at 6 till 9, all the big guests are hungover. It's like a CPAC is the way I describe CPAC, it's the Comic-Con of conservatives, of the Republicans. It's the Republican Comic-Con. And the CPAC Latinos are good. They do a lot of smaller CPAC events all year long, all over the world. And CPAC Latino is important, but I just don't think it's for me. Conservative Political Action Committee. Yeah, what's the name of the husband and wife that run CPAC? They're going to be there. I forgot their names. They're on television all the time. Husband and wife, they're good people. They're going to be there today. Somebody in the chat will know their names. I just forgot their names. Since I just started drinking. Yeah. Matt Schlapp and Mercedes Schlapp. The Schlapps. Yep. Yeah, they're good people, but it's just not me because I'm not interested. There's a couple of things I'm not interested in. I'm not interested in speeches, like, you know, like when I went to Turning Point, I went to see the president, and a lot of the speeches are going to be for people I've never heard of because they're from the Spanish world, and then they have these workshops and things. I'm not really interested in that, and I'm just to stand on the edge of a red carpet and ask Byron Donalds and Anna Paulina Luna one question that I'm going to have 30 seconds for as they're walking by just seems weird. Now, if this were the main CPAC red carpet and the people walk, like when I went to Turning Point, I had to go through security because the president was. I went through security with Steve Bannon. You know, was next to me, and we went through security together. So I got to talk to him. That was cool, you know. But this is a little different, so I'm not probably going to go. Not to knock him, it's a good thing to go to, but it's not a good thing for me to cover, you know. It's at a cool place. It's at the Seminole Indian Tribe of Florida's Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, which is a pretty cool place. You know, but it's not for me. That's right, Daddy Trump. Yep, Trump is our daddy. That's right. Daddy's home. It is a little humid today. The weather's nice, but it's a little humid. I don't know if you guys can hear the wildlife, but the wildlife is going nuts. I watched this. I got up early this morning and I watched an interesting documentary. The actual Kurt. Thank you for that super chat, man. Appreciate it. Gulf of America. Hell yeah. Oh, that's Kurt from Kurt Cobain. Oh, man. Nevermind's a great album. I love the 90s. I listen to 90s music more than any. My wife is all into 80s, which I'm into 80s too, because that's my era. But I listen to 90s music more than anything. Nirvana, 10,000 Maniacs, that kind of stuff. Not so much Pearl Jam, especially since Eddie Vedder was trashing Trump and backing Kamala. But no, I watched the birthday parade on television like most people. The thing about the Army birthday, the media are so liberal in their bias that it even goes to the weather. Look at what they did, right? When they had the Army birthday parade a couple weeks back, the fake news media was reporting bad weather. It was going to rain. 100% chance of rain, 99% chance of rain. That's all you heard. It didn't rain a drop. Didn't rain a drop. And that was just fake news to get people to not go, to try to lessen the crowd. That's how hateful the media are. Now, the house next door to me, sadly, the lady who lived there passed away. She was 90 or 91, very nice lady. And she just passed away. It was really kind of sad. Her family's staying over here, so they're not, I don't know the family too well. I knew her and her husband. Her husband passed away about 20 years ago, and now she just passed away. I know it's sad the family's here, so. I don't know the family too well. They come and visit. I say hi to them. That's about it, but it's sadness. Yep. Oh, Diddy's here. Did Diddy get acquitted and out of jail? And he's here on YouTube watching? Hey, Diddy, what's up? But no, this has been a great week of victories. And I mean, look at what happened yesterday. Trump has ended another war. There's 4 wars he's ended, and what's the 4th one, right? India, Pakistan, Israel, Iran. I know there's some skirmishes going on. This Rwanda, Ugandan war, and he said there was a 4th one, which I forget. Which was the 4th one he ended? Does anyone know? And yesterday, this just blows my mind. The fake news media, okay? He had the Rwandans and Ugandans in the Oval yesterday signing a damn peace treaty. It was signed. It was on his desk. He just ended this war. I don't see one damn story about it. Everything is about the pretty reporter that he said was beautiful. Right? All the reporting is that he told the reporter she's beautiful. I've never seen that reporter before. She is. I remember I saw her in the press briefing, and she stands out. I've never seen her before. Her hair's a little dated. I mean, she looks like her hair. She should get different hair. You know what I'm talking about? She has the hair of like the guy that used to run Jet magazine, like in the 80s and 90s or something. You know what I mean? But all the stories are about him telling her she's beautiful, not about the peace treaty that just ended an African war. I mean, Trump is, what's the 4th one that he brokered? Does anyone know? Rwanda, Uganda, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, the 12-day war. Pakistan, there was a 4th one he mentioned, and I cannot remember what the 4th one was. Well, anyway, no coverage of it in the news because Trump did it. Congo, yes, the Congo. Who were they fighting in the Congo? What was that about? Yeah, the Congo. He ended that too. Well, there's one he has not ended. What, is he supposed to end all conflict in the world? How can he help it that Putin and Zelensky are nuts? He's ended 4 wars out of 5 going on the planet, and they're calling him a failure because he's only ended 4 of the 5 wars going on. Wasn't it Rwanda and Congo? Okay. So there's 5 wars going on the planet. He's ended 4 of the 5, right? One of them could have been a nuclear confrontation with India and Pakistan. Both are nuclear powers. And there's one he hasn't ended, so he's a failure? Are you kidding? Yeah, Rwanda and Congo, India and Pakistan, I mean, this is amazing. Yeah. Oh, it's true. It's true. He's done so much, can't even remember them all. Plus, I haven't had, this is my first cup of coffee, guys. So you got to bear with me as I'm behind on my coffee. I've usually had like 3, 4 cups by now. And it does look like Zohan in New York is not going to win the general election. They're not going to let him. I mean, there's so much panic in New York that this communist is has a possibility of being mayor, that it's all hands on deck, and he's being exposed. Him going on MSNBC talking against capitalism. Jeez. Something with Kosovo. Yeah, I can't remember what the fourth one was. President Trump said it in one of his speeches this week. I didn't catch which the fourth one was. He said it, then I forgot it, and it didn't stay in my mind. MAGA for life, Blue Crow. Absolutely. Make sure you subscribe if you are new. I mean, the sun is coming up over the ocean. It's in the 80s, and it is humid. I might start sweating, the humidity. Absolutely. Well, look at this. How much money did we raise in tariffs? Did the Congress tell him $88 billion so far? I mean, what the hell? Isn't that amazing? Tariffs don't work. Tariffs ended the Indian-Pakistani war. China's about to sign the deal. They got the deal with China. They got the deal with the UK. Now, Canada screwed up. President Trump called off all negotiations with Canada because they put in a new tariff to screw us over. You cannot trust these guys running Canada. Any Canadians in the chat? What's the matter with you? Your government up there? Well, I got 5 cats. What am I supposed to do? Yes. I've got my 3 cats, and my wife and I have, and my daughter's 2 cats. And I woke up this morning. I got up this morning. I watched a very interesting non-political documentary, and I fell asleep on the couch for a couple hours, and I woke up, and I had 3 cats sleeping on me. So, So I got up, and that was just a little while ago, right before I made the coffee. Annex Canada? I don't think so. We make Canada part of the United States. They get representation in Congress. We don't want that. They're liberal socialist up there. The Kosovo-Serbia deal, that was the 4th one. Thank you. Yeah, plus I'm allergic to cats, so I take allergy medication, but there's too many cats for the medication to keep up. Yeah, well. I don't know. Maybe having cat hair on a black shirt is a YouTube technique to keep people. With YouTube, everything's about viewer retention. So maybe cat hair helps with viewer retention. It keeps people watching longer. The trolls, they want to watch. That's right. What is who's Donnie the con artist? Who's that? I'm not familiar with that person. Why do you not like the politics of Trump? Trump really isn't political. Kosovo? Okay, that's the 4th one, Kosovo. So he's ended 4 out of 5 conflicts in the world in just like 3 months, 4 months, right? That's awesome. That's awesome. Who said why do you say that, Mickey? Because Jeremy from the Quartering says so? Maybe I know Jeremy from the Quartering, maybe people just don't like watching Jeremy from the Quartering because he's like a tweaker. He's always like this. He can't sit still in the camera. It's like, Watching Jeremy and the Quartering is like watching the Blair Witch Project. And those of you that remember the Blair Witch Project know exactly what that reference means. My goodness. I mean, it's like, you know, you need some destabilization on that camera. You know. Oh man, it is a nice day. Welcome. If you're new, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. This is kind of like a casual coffee talk here on Saturday morning. A little more relaxed from me taking the calls during the week. Brazil, welcome. Welcome. Also, some of you got the Blair Witch comparison to Jeremy. You know, people are all, so many people are complain. You don't hear me complaining about things like that. You know. Broke Americans. Who's broke? Who's broke? You know, a lot of Americans were broke last year. Things are coming back, right? Wages are up, prices are down. I mean, egg prices are way the freak down. I took a picture a week or two ago of the eggs at Publix, which is the most expensive place to buy food in Florida. I put it on my Instagram. Eggs are down like 90%. It's amazing. Yeah, the neighbors. I feel bad for the lady next door who passed away. They got the whole family. Kids, nieces, nephews. Oh no, Trump is doing, this was a great week. Rent is down. In fact, I know rent's down because I'm not a renter, but my daughter just, you know, she just moved back to Florida and she's looking at places, and I was looking at places with her, and the rent prices are so freaking low in Florida. I mean, they are low. You can rent condos for such great prices right now, and single family homes. Oh my goodness, the rent prices are way down in Florida. And I know they're down because before she moved to California, one of the reasons my daughter moved to Los Angeles is that this was like 3 years ago, rents were higher in Florida than in LA. And we looked at the rents then before she moved, and they were high. I mean, they were high. And now they're really low here in Florida compared to what they were 3 years ago. Yeah. They are, Jose. I've been looking. I mean, in fact, real estate prices in Florida are down as a whole. There's articles about it in the papers. You know, there's a lot of condo. You know, you can buy condos because there's the condo market's just catering, because that collapse they had in Miami a few years ago is causing one of the biggest real estate scams in history, this reassessment going on in all condo buildings. That condo in Miami that collapsed, it had some problems, but the reason that condo collapsed is because they were building a high-rise next door. And when they build high-rises on the beach, they put these pylons deep into the ground with these huge machines, and it makes this very loud noise. It's like a boom, like a big hammer. And when they were building that high-rise next door to that building that collapsed, they caused a seismic event. They were causing earthquakes, is what they were doing. And the building was old, it had problems, but the construction next door causing seismic events, causing earthquakes, caused that building to collapse. So in Florida, they have this scam going that all condos built before a certain year have to go through this inspection, and then there's these assessments. And there are people that have condos that a couple years ago were worth $1 million, $500,000. They're worth nothing now because of these assessments are so high. And it's a scam, kind of like the fires of California and Hawaii. They just burn everything down there. Here, they're going to end up clearing out these old buildings and building high-rises is what's going to happen. It's a big real estate scam. But you can buy condos. I was looking, nice condos in nice neighborhoods on golf courses in Florida. I was just looking this week because I was talking to my daughter. Maybe she should buy a condo. You can buy a condo for $10,000 in a nice neighborhood on a golf course because the condo prices have dropped so much in Florida. It's amazing. In Palm Beach County, not far from Mar-a-Lago. It's insane. And it's because of this condo assessment thing. People are in a panic right now. I know. No, it's not. Look it up. You can look it up. There's articles. I read an article about it in it might have been the Daily Mail. It was a national article about condo prices in Palm Beach. I couldn't believe it. So I went on Zillow and some of the other real estate sites and started looking them up. You can get a condo for $10,000 on a golf course. I know it's crazy. Now the monthly fees are high. Like I saw one, it was $10,000, nice condo on a golf course, but the HOAs every month are just under $1,400. So you get the condo real cheap, but you got the high monthly HOA fees, Homeowners Association. Oh man. No, $1,300, $1,400 monthly fees. No, it's not. I wish it was bullshit because, I don't want real estate to be given away here in Florida. Average doesn't tell you jack because there are homes and houses that are worth millions of dollars. You do the average, you're factoring in Mar-a-Lago, which is worth $1 billion, right? And whatever data you have is not, it's not based on, what the value of something is what people are willing to pay for it. So I'm looking at what people are selling condos for. People are selling condos for as low as $10,000 in nice neighborhoods on golf courses. So that's what they're listed for. Think about that. It's almost impossible to live in Florida without being in an HOA. My mother does not have an HOA. She lives in a very old neighborhood that was built in the 50s in Fort Lauderdale. I have an HOA, but it's very cheap. 80% of Floridians live in a neighborhood with a homeowners association. $10,000 for a condo. Now, again, you got to pay, $1,300, $1,400 a month in HOA fees. But yeah, $10,000 condo. I'm telling you, it's true. It's true. I feel bad for the people that are selling it because probably a lot of these condos are the families selling it. Their grandma, grandpa, mom, dad have died. But I would not be buying a condo right now, even at these low prices. I know it's hard to believe. I looked, it's not you can't go by these listings you're Googling. You have to go on the real estate sites and look at what they're listed for sale, condos. Not houses, condos. Because the condo market is tanking in Florida. Tanking. Like my wife and I lived in a condo when we first got married. Rent. If you can't buy, you got to rent. But rent is just throwing money away, right? Real estate's an investment. It depends on the condo. When I lived in a condo, it was a nice condo, but the condo association were tyrants. The president of the condo association thought he was president of the United States, walking around doing inspections and everything. He was a monster. But this has been a great week for our great president, Donald Trump. It's been nothing but winning. That NATO meeting went well. He ended the 12-day war. He just had the peace treaty for this Rwandan-Congo war yesterday in the Oval Office. No, those $1,400 fees, $1 a month fees aren't just HOA. It's also the golf course fees because these are condos on golf courses. So you got to pay to maintain the golf course too. No, I wouldn't buy one. Are you kidding? I would not buy one. There's always a catch. Well, I went through it a little earlier. I give you that. Why is the condo market tanking? It's because of that collapse in Miami a few years ago. they are requiring all condos built before a certain year, I don't remember the year, have to be assessed to see how worthy they are of still standing. So what's happening is they send these inspectors in, and sometimes people have to pay $100,000, $200,000 per condo in a building just to get the building up to code now. And a lot of the condos in Florida are very old. They were built in the 60s and 70s, and because of these assessments, they're not worth that much money. Yeah, this is, I'm in my front yard. I'm at the side of my house today, streaming. These are the birds in my yard that you're hearing. So that's why it's a real estate scam, like the fires of Malibu or the fires in Hawaii. It's a scam. I don't hear anything good about Airbnbs these days. All I hear about from Airbnbs are people. Now, when my daughter, when she moved back to Florida, she drove, and she spent about 2 or 3 weeks seeing the country. She stayed exclusively in Airbnbs from LA all the way to Florida, and she loved it. It was so cheap compared to hotels, and she was staying in nice places. But Airbnb seems like a mistake to me. You'll take a condo near the beach? Yeah. You know, the only problem with living on the beach is the traffic. Before I got married, I had an apartment that was about a mile from the beach. You know where I went a couple weeks ago for the No Kings protest? I lived in an apartment right down the street from there. And the traffic, oh my gosh. When I lived by the beach, it sucked. It seems nice until you're there for a while, and the traffic is the pits. Yeah, Kamala. She's probably, it's 4:30. I'm sure she's passed out with a bottle of wine. 4:30 a.m. in California. Passed out with a box of wine, maybe. Everybody, you think she drinks wine out of the, you think she buys like the gallons or the boxes? What size wine do you think she buys? I don't think she's getting drunk off of expensive wine. I would doubt that. Now, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, all right? This is where MAGA comes to talk. My name's Brian. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.